Welcome to Locally Sourced. I'm Armanda Familetti. CoveCare Center is a new counseling service in Carmel, or is it? My guests tonight are going to explain all the services CoveCare Center provides and how helpful it is to our community. Welcome, Diane Russo and Debbie Levin.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you could be here.
Thank you.
So Diane, what is your role at CoveCare Center?
I'm the Chief Executive Officer of CoveCare Center, formerly known as Putnam Family and Community Services. And this year we changed our name after 20 years.
Wow.
So my role in the agency is to oversee all of the operations with leadership and business strategies and corporate development.
Have you been there since the beginning of CoveCare Center?
I've been there since 1998, and the agency privatized its services in 97. So it's, 19 of the 20 years, which is a pretty long time. Yeah.
That's pretty
so
good.
you could pretty much say I've been there from the beginning.
Well, congratulations on 20 years.
Thank you so much.
That's quite a feat.
It is.
So tell us about the services of CoveCare Center.
Well, we are a private, not-for-profit agency licensed by the New York State Office of Mental Health and the New York State Office of Alcohol and Substance Abuse Services. And we provide mental health services, substance use, treatment and prevention, community-based services, and we have a PROS program.
Sorry, what?
It's PROS. It's called Prosper. It's personalized recovery services for people who are engaged in rehabilitation.
Wow.
It's a pretty impressive program.
Yes. What kind of rehabilitation is that for?
It's for people with serious mental illness.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, why did you change the name? You were 20 years doing a great job, and then you decided to become CoveCare Center.
We realized after 20 years that there was a gap of understanding of who we are and what we did and who we served. We found that the name was actually limiting us and limiting our ability to reach the people who need our services. We want everyone who actually need the help that we can offer to know that we're there and available to them. So if you looked at the name we had previously, Putnam Family and Community Services, it served us well for 20 years, but having Putnam in the name really introduced some difficulties. First, it sounds like a government agency. And a lot of people felt when they saw the name that we were a government entity rather than a not-for-profit.
You were part of the county government as opposed to a separate nonprofit.
Right. Now we do get county and state funding for some of our programs, but we are a private not-for-profit. It also implied that we only serve Putnam County, which is not the case. There are certain programs that are limited to Putnam County, but our mental health facilities, our substance use services, our community-based services, for the most part, we can serve people beyond Putnam County, and we needed to dispel that notion that we only serve Putnam County. Putnam County is obviously our core, but we can't extend beyond that border. The other thing is that we needed to stand out. If you look at the name of agencies in this area, 75% of them start with Putnam. So people were confused as to exactly who we are, and we were frequently confused with other agencies. So it was important for us, not that we don't love our roots here in Putnam, but it was important for us to differentiate ourselves.
It was a name that was limiting
it was
you
limiting
in a way,
us.
and limiting the scope of the services that you provide.
That we can offer, right.
I remember your old name had families in it as well, and that to me sounded like, oh, well, you had to go in there as a family or something, and
correct.
Yeah, it was true. It really didn't.
It didn't tell
people what you do.
Family and community services, if you ask 10 people what that meant, you get 10 different answers, and one or two of them might resemble what we did. So it really wasn't doing us a service. And most importantly, it wasn't doing our communities a service in terms of knowing that we're there for them.
Right. Yeah. So now it's CoveCare, and that's kind of all one word with a capital C and a capital C in the middle. And so how did you come up with that name?
We took a long time. We went through a very long 6 to 8 month process of looking at who we are. The objective of the new name was to really express who we are as an agency on a more emotional basis. And after a great deal of input from staff, clients, board members, community members, partners, we came up with what we would call our brand personality. And Cove was the output of that, because what we really represent is a safe harbor, someplace where people can come and feel protected and cared for and welcomed at all times. So CoveCare came out of that whole process.
Yeah, we were very fortunate because we applied to the Dyson Foundation for a grant to do this. And they came through for us, and we were able to hire consultants who helped us through the process.
A whole rebranding kind of process.
Yeah, you know, and we included our staff and our board, members of the community, our community partners. So we were very inclusive, and our clients as well. So it was a long process, but I think the results were fantastic. So we thank the Dyson Foundation for that.
Well, I also have to say that I visited your website before your rebranding and after, and I have to say it's quite a different experience on your website. You have videos now that really kind of tell the story of the people you serve, which is very helpful to understand who you serve and what you do and who's appropriate client of yours and maybe who isn't, and just it gives a lot more information. And it's really, I mean, you've done a great job with this whole rebranding, your new logo, everything looks great. Thank you, Dyson Foundation. I'm glad Dyson is taking more of an interest in Putnam County now than it has in the past. It's up in Dutchess County in Poughkeepsie, right?
They've been a supporter for a while.
For a very long time they've supported us, so we appreciate that.
We're lucky to have them.
We give them credit. They recognize Putnam, and they recognize the importance of supporting Putnam County far more than other organizations might. So we're very grateful.
So just give us an overview. I know you do so much, but if you can give an overview of what the agency's services are.
Well, all of our services are outpatient. And we have a large mental health clinic where we see children, adolescents, adults, and families. We provide individual and group counseling.
And seniors too, right?
And seniors.
It goes from the very young to the very old. Anyone who has any kind of mental health problems.
Yeah. We provide affordable, accessible services for people.
And those mental health problems can range from as Diane indicated, the very significant, difficult mental health problems to things that you'd say a little more everyday, a little more I'm struggling, but it's nothing.
What
but
they
maybe
used to
it
call
really is
neuroses, right?
Or anxiety.
Neurotic, anxiety.
You're going back.
I know, right? Neuroses. They
hysteria back then.
I'm not even going to go that far back.
That was Freud.
But at any given point.
But mostly it's anxiety of living in our modern world.
Anxiety, phobias, depression, up to, serious mental illness, bipolar disorders, schizophrenia. So we treat the whole spectrum of people.
Well, actually,
diseases.
I mentioned before that you have some terrific videos on your website that really help in a very human way to explain what you do and who your clients are. And we actually have one of those videos. Yes, is that a surprise to you? It shouldn't be. So actually, I think we can run it now.
Hospitals since I was 17. A few years ago, I found CoveCare Center, and everything changed. The people there picked me up and taught me the skills I needed to cope with my conditions.
CoveCare works every single day, not only to help people find the tools and resources to work with their addiction and their recovery, but they also work every single day to help the community understand that mental illness and addiction and substance use is a disease, and it's a disease that with the proper management can be controlled and that people can go on to live healthy, productive lives.
CoveCare is a fantastic organization because they do so much. They're one of the few agencies in our community that is able to provide mental health and substance abuse treatment, which is so important, as a lot of people that we work with have both of those needs. The fact that they can come to one place to get care for both is wonderful.
Putnam is a beautiful county, but we're no different from anywhere else in this country. There are many people with mental health issues. Our veterans come home. They need treatment. Our families are in crisis. So what we provide is affordable and accessible treatment for everyone.
Losing my job turned my life upside down. I turned to drinking and drugs to cope, and they had taken over my life. I needed treatment to get my life and health back on track. And CoveCare Center, they were there for me.
The relationship that CoveCare has with Putnam County Mental Health, Social Services, and the Youth Bureau is one of a partnership. Each of our organizations have made our community, our population, our families, our residents a priority. And what has been really exciting about that partnership is that it allows us to be responsive to the needs of the community. And so we're really excited about the future of CoveCare and the direction they're taking.
We chose the name CoveCare Center because it signified a safe place, a safe harbor for people to come. We wanted to have open access for people, a welcoming place, a place where people felt comfortable, not only for themselves, but to bring their children and their families.
When we first came to CoveCare Center, we were a family in crisis. Our child's behavior was challenging us all, and we have tried everything to help. At CoveCare Center, we found the help we need and support from a welcoming network of families like ours.
We're here for our community. We know that there are 1 in 5 Americans that have mental health issues, and the majority of them are not seeking treatment. Our belief is everyone has an opportunity to recover, and everyone should be given that opportunity to recover.
And that was excellent. And I think it really told a very important story about people who don't seek help. Tell me, why is it that people don't seek help? Is it a stigma? Is it they're afraid it's going to be costly? Is it they just don't have time in their schedules to fit in a call to your agency? What's going on?
Well, I think it's a number of reasons. Stigma definitely plays an important role in why people don't seek treatment. Insurance costs, and that's why we make our services affordable for people. We do have a sliding fee scale, and we do accept insurance, so people should not feel that they can't come to CoveCare if they don't have the means to pay. We do help them with that. But I really think, and we see this a lot in our children with our families, it's very hard for parents to say, my kid has an issue, and we screen for social emotional issues. We work with the schools to screen kids, but it's really difficult for them to say, because they feel it's a reflection on them, and it's not. I mean,
that they're a bad parent because their child has an issue.
Exactly, and that is not the case at all. So that's why we've reached out to the community to say to parents and families, we have services for your children, bring them in. And we have seen an increase in our population for children and families grow exponentially over the last few years.
So let's say you said you work with the schools, so a teacher notices that one of the children in the classroom seems to have behavior problems or socialization problems or something like that. Do they go to the mom and say, there's a great agency here in town we recommend you take your child to? Would that be a scenario for how that works?
Yes, they can definitely do that, and we're constantly outreaching the schools to let them know that we're here, and some of our staff go out to the schools to do presentations.
Right.
We
for
also
the staff, the teachers.
Yeah, in our substance use program, we have prevention counselors in some of the school districts that actually work in the schools to educate the children, the parents, and the school personnel about drugs and alcohol and bullying, and to teach them about self-esteem. So, and that's so valued.
Right, yeah. So what is your footprint? Is it Putnam County? Or you said it was wider than Putnam County. What school districts do you reach out to?
No, good.
We're in Haldane, Putnam Valley, and Mayapack. And we do work with Brewster and Carmel.
Okay, and these are the public schools?
Yes, we're in the public schools. And we also have a partnership. We're part of the Coordinated Behavioral Health Services. It's an IPA, and we join them. We're one of 9 agencies in the Hudson Valley, and we all work together to provide quality healthcare services to the entire Hudson Valley.
So tell me the we talked about seniors, we talked about people in midlife, we talked about families with issues, we talked about individuals, children, I think I saw something about veterans. Do you have a particular outreach for veterans?
Well, we work with you saw Megan Castellano. She has the Vet to Vet program with Mental Health Association. So we do work with Megan and her staff to provide services for veterans. I mean, if veterans come in, that's wonderful. And we do have staff trained in veterans issues because they do have special issues. So we welcome, all of our veterans to come in to receive services. Our doors are open.
Right. Well, so many people have, they have a concoction, don't they, of issues. People self-medicate if they have mental health issues, and that might lead to a drug addiction. And then it involves the family. You can't be depressed and on drugs and it not affect your family if you're a family member. So it becomes pretty complicated, right? How do you address that kind of situation?
One of our most important goals and an abiding principle that we function under is to look at the whole person. We don't look at just a diagnosis. We look at the person as a whole and the circumstances around that person. So as you point out, you may have come in with an addiction issue, but that addiction issue is resulting in physical issues and problems or manifesting itself in other mental health conditions. We look at the whole person, and as you say, look at their surroundings, how it is affecting their family. So we do make available counseling for families as well as the patients. So we're very, very invested in looking at the whole person, not just one aspect of it. We want people to recover, and recovery is not a one-track path.
Right. And so recovery is possible. I've often thought that mental illness sometimes can be controlled with drugs and counseling, but recovery, there are certainly some mental illnesses that you can't recover from. Is that true? Schizophrenia, bipolar?
No, that's not true.
That's not true.
We've seen it, and we see it every day.
I'm so glad you're saying that.
People recover. They get well. Especially, we have individuals in our Prosper program, and it's a goal-oriented program. We have 50 classes a week, and they can attend a number of them. We have vocational counseling. We have medication management for them. Everyone deserves a quality life, and that's part of our mission.
So they don't have to, if you have a serious mental health issue, you do not have to resign yourself that this is what your life is going to be like forever.
Absolutely not. No. And again,
that's such a great message. I'm glad I'm hearing it.
Yeah. Like Debbie said, we do look at the whole person, and we have a care management program that helps people not only with mental health and substance use issues, but now medical issues. So you don't have to have a behavioral health care issue to access those services. And our newest initiative, which we're so proud of, is we're partnering with CareMount Medical. We actually have a social worker on site in 2 offices, in Brewster and Patterson. She's there providing mental health counseling for individuals that go to see their doctor. So the physician can just walk down the hall and say, it's a warm handoff. to mental health services.
That's terrific.
It is.
That's terrific.
And we want to expand that because we think.
And Caremount is huge. I mean,
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
I see buildings all over everywhere that say Caremount.
Well, we're only in 2 right now.
They're taking
so.
over the world, I think. I'm
Well, we'd like to take it over with them. So.
But
This is just a new initiative this year, and we're very pleased with the results, and I think that we will be expanding those. But it's really innovative. It's ahead of the curve. We're very proud to be in partnership with Caremount and really anticipating. Integrated healthcare is very much the direction.
Well, I noticed in the video that there was a scene where a man opens his door to a lovely home, and a woman walks in. I assume she's going to have a sit down with him, and they're going to talk about his issues. So you make house calls.
That's our senior partnership program. And that program is mobile, and it provides services to seniors 55 and over. And the reason they say 55,
well, wait a minute
there's an
now.
explanation.
55.
People with mental illness die 25 years earlier than people who don't have mental illness. So the state dropped the age to 55, which really makes sense. So we have a social worker on that team, a part-time nurse, we have a doctor affiliated with that, and we have a peer specialist. So, and a care manager.
And if I'm having a problem as a 56-year-old, I have all those people on my team. They're all working with me to get me better. That's great.
And they'll meet with you in your home or someplace else that you're comfortable with. They're not providing counseling. They're providing help to find the resources and help that you need.
Identify the issue and identify the people who can help me.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that's a state grant that we received. We were one of, I think it's 10 in the state.
The state of New York.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's terrific.
And let me just note, that is one of the programs that is limited to Putnam County. That is a Putnam County specific program, but it's just great. It's really taken off. Again, that was a new program introduced
I'm happy that we mature people are willing to call and ask for help and realize there's something wrong.
Well,
that's the first step, right?
And
why not be as happy as you can be?
Absolutely. You know? And the team can also be engaged by family or concerned people. So if you know of an elderly person who's struggling and having issues or problems, you can contact the team. Now, obviously, the person being seen has to be willing, but you can open the door if you see someone who has an issue or
That's
problem.
terrific.
Yeah.
So what we hear a lot about all the time is the opioid crisis. How is that affecting your work? Because again, that's either a symptom or a problem in its own. How is CoveCare being impacted by the opioid crisis?
I can give you a little history. When I first came to the agency, we had a separate alcohol and program and a drug-free program, and then we integrated those into chemical dependency. Now we call it substance use. And people that would come in years ago would smoke marijuana, they would use alcohol, and today we're not seeing too much of that. I mean, it's still there, but most of the people that come to our services are using heroin and opioids. And so what we did was trained one of our doctors, our psychiatrists, and we used the medication Suboxone. And we will be starting to use Vivitrol as well to treat the opioid epidemic, because it is just, this county is a beautiful county, but we have problems just like every other place in this country. And we've seen such a large number of people come in with these issues. So we have to address them, because we're a community agency. We're here for the community. So we need to do assessments on what does our community need, and this is what our community needs right now. So we're very flexible, and we make the changes we need to make in our programs to meet the needs of the people that live here.
So have you actually seen some real encouraging change in that area? I don't really understand why there's this huge increase in opioid use. I assume maybe the prices come down, or it's a peer pressure kind of thing, and everybody's doing it, so everybody's doing it. Are people really able to extricate themselves from this horrible addiction?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. What are the causes? I think there are a lot of causes. There are a lot of social causes, not the least of which was the use of painkillers and the availability of painkillers that then become addictive and too expensive, and heroin is cheaper. Right. So there's a natural migration from the opioids to but yes, of course, you can find your way out of that tunnel, as it were.
You know,
that's encouraging.
People always ask that question: why do people use drugs? And I have a very simple but complicated answer. People use drugs because they work for whatever problem they're experiencing.
They're self-medicating in a way. They're not addressing the root issues.
Absolutely, drugs work for whatever problem that they have. They feel better, and unfortunately, you keep using, you become addicted, and then you're in that vicious cycle of addiction. But it can be broken, and we see it all the time. People come and they recover. So, and that's what we're about. That's what we're about. We're about recovery.
So if you have an issue, whether it's mental health or drug addiction, or someone in your family you see behavior has changed, they're suffering, they should give you a call, right?
Yes.
What are the best ways to reach out to your organization?
You can call us. We're at 845-225-2700. You can go on our website, which is www.covecarecenter.org.
And there's the capability to contact us at the info@covecarecenter.org.
Can I come and knock on the door? I know where it is. It's on Route 52.
Sure.
No, it's on Route 6.
Route 6.
Route 6.
Yes,
sorry, I guess I don't.
You can go to Route 52, but you won't find us.
I have a terrible sense of direction, so if you see me wandering around,
we'll grab you in.
Point me in the right direction.
Certainly, you know, we're always available.
That's terrific to hear.
Yeah.
And I understand we're coming to the end of the program, but I just wanted to mention at the beginning, you said you're celebrating 20 years, and you just had a gala.
We did.
Tell us what that was, what the fun was there.
Friday night, we had the whole room full of supporters, partners, staff, clients who came to celebrate our 20th anniversary with us, and we had quite a party.
We did.
A lot of dancing, a lot of fun. Our wonderful silent auction. We have one of the best silent auctions around. We had the opportunity to honor Caremount Medical for this innovative partnership that we've spoken about. Dr. Scott Hayworth was there to accept on behalf of Caremount Medical, along with Dr. Tom Lester and Dara Caputo, who were instrumental in setting up our partnership, getting our counselors into their sites. So it was a great party. It's our major fundraiser of the year. We did pretty well, and all of the funds that we raised really go towards keeping our programs going, keeping them affordable, and keeping them accessible.
Well, you know, thank you both so much for what you do for the community. Thank your staff.
Thank you.
Back at the office on Route 52. Oh, no, Route 6, sorry. Thanks for being here for 20 years. I hope you have another long life and you continue to help all of us here in Carmel and Putnam County. And thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us.
It's our pleasure, and thanks for our volunteer crew.